The starship Eclipse drifted silently through the void, its sleek, obsidian hull reflecting the faint light of a distant sun. On board, Princess Zara of the Xel'thari Empire stood at the observation deck, her luminescent violet eyes scanning the endless expanse of space. Her silver hair cascaded down her back like a waterfall of starlight, and her regal posture exuded an air of authority. She was a symbol of her people's strength and elegance, a living embodiment of their empire's might. But today, her thoughts were troubled. The Xel'thari Empire was on the brink of collapse. A relentless enemy, the Kryll, had pushed her people to the edge of extinction. Desperate for allies, Zara had embarked on a diplomatic mission to Earth, a planet she had once considered primitive. But humanity had surprised her. In the span of a few centuries, they had risen from a fractured, war-torn species to a formidable interstellar power. Now, she needed their help. The doors to the observation deck hissed open, and Captain Marcus Hale strode in. He was a tall, broad-shouldered man with piercing blue eyes and a confident swagger that seemed to fill the room. His uniform bore the insignia of the United Earth Fleet, and his presence commanded respect. Zara had met him only a few hours ago, but already she found him intriguing. "Princess Zara," Marcus said, his voice deep and steady. "We're approaching Earth. I thought you might want to see it." Zara turned to face him, her expression unreadable. "Thank you, Captain. I admit, I am curious about your world." Marcus stepped beside her, and together they gazed at the blue-green orb growing larger on the view screen. "It's not much compared to the grandeur of the Xel'thari Empire," he said with a hint of humility, "but it's home." Zara's lips curved into a faint smile. "Do not underestimate your people, Captain. Humanity's rise has been remarkable." Marcus chuckled. "We've had our share of struggles, but we've always found a way to survive and thrive." Zara's smile faded as her thoughts returned to her mission. Survival is not guaranteed, even for the strongest of species. "My people are facing annihilation, Captain. I need your help." Marcus's expression grew serious. "I understand, and I'll do everything in my power to convince the Earth Council to support you. But alliances are built on trust, Princess, and trust takes time." Zara nodded, though her heart ached with impatience. Time was a luxury her people did not have. The meeting with the Earth Council did not go as planned. The council members were skeptical, their questions pointed and their demands steep. They wanted access to Xel'thari technology, a share of their resources, and guarantees of mutual defense. Zara argued passionately, but the negotiations dragged on, and she could feel the weight of her people's desperation pressing down on her. After hours of fruitless debate, Marcus finally intervened. "Counselors," he said, his voice firm, "the Xel'thari are not just asking for our help. They're offering us a chance to stand together against a common enemy. If we turn our backs on them now, we may regret it when the Kryll come for us." The room fell silent. Zara glanced at Marcus, surprised by his fervor. He met her gaze, and for a moment, she felt a flicker of hope. The council adjourned to deliberate, leaving Zara and Marcus alone in the chamber. "Thank you," she said softly. "You did not have to speak on our behalf." Marcus shrugged. "I meant what I said. We're stronger together. And I believe in you." Zara's heart skipped a beat. There was something in his eyes, a sincerity that touched her in a way she hadn't expected. But before she could respond, the council returned with their decision. "Princess Zara," the council leader announced, "we are willing to form an alliance with the Xel'thari Empire. But there is one condition." Zara's breath caught. "What condition?" The council leader hesitated, then said, "To solidify this alliance, we propose a union between our species. A marriage between you, Princess Zara, and Captain Marcus Hale." Zara's eyes widened in shock. "You dare claim me as your wife?" she exclaimed, her voice trembling with a mix of outrage and disbelief. Marcus looked equally stunned. "Counselors, this is unexpected." The council leader held up a hand. "This is not a demand, but a proposal. A symbol of unity between our peoples. The choice is yours." Zara's mind raced. She had dedicated her life to her people, but this was beyond anything she had imagined. She turned to Marcus, searching his face for answers. "Princess," Marcus said gently, "I won't force you into anything, but if this is what it takes to save your people, I'm willing to stand by your side." Zara's heart swelled with conflicting emotions. She had always been taught to put her people first, but this felt like a sacrifice of her very identity. Yet, as she looked into Marcus's eyes, she saw not a conqueror, but a partner. A man who believed in her and her cause. "Very well," she said at last, her voice steady. "I accept." The wedding was a grand affair, attended by dignitaries from both Earth and the Xel'thari Empire. Zara wore a gown of shimmering starlight, while Marcus stood tall in his dress uniform. As they exchanged vows, Zara felt a strange sense of peace. This was not the life she had envisioned, but perhaps it was a new beginning. In the months that followed, the alliance between Earth and the Xel'thari Empire proved to be a turning point in the war against the Kryll. Together, they pushed back the enemy, reclaiming lost territories and restoring hope to Zara's people. But more importantly, Zara and Marcus grew closer. What had begun as a political union blossomed into a deep and genuine connection. They learned from each other, supported each other, and found strength in their partnership. One evening, as they stood on the observation deck of the eclipse, watching the stars, Zara turned to Marcus and said, "I was wrong about you, Captain. You are not what I expected." Marcus smiled. "And what did you expect? A brute, a conqueror. But you are more." Marcus took her hand in his. "And you, Princess, are more than I ever dreamed." Zara's heart swelled with emotion. For the first time in her life, she felt truly seen, not as a princess or a symbol, but as Zara. As they stood together, gazing at the infinite expanse of the universe, Zara realized that this was not the end of her story, but the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter filled with hope, love, and the promise of a brighter future. And in that moment, she knew that she had found not just an ally, but a partner. A man who dared to claim her as his wife, and in doing so, had won her heart.